Hey guys, what's going on? We're back with another episode of the Hollywood Steve podcast right here on YouTube, guys. Make sure if you guys like this kind of stuff, make sure you guys are hitting that like button, make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button, and make sure you guys are commenting as well. So, all right, I'm gonna start things off with we're gonna talk about Monday Night Raw this past Monday, and my gosh, holy crap, what an episode of Raw. Now, this is obviously the post SummerSlam Raw, and oh my gosh, I must say that this Monday Night Raw was I'm gonna say it. I mean, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna call it. It was the most incredible Monday Night Raw that I have ever seen. It was like the most action-packed Raw that I can ever remember. And so, like I said, before we get into it, make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys comment, all that good stuff. And I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching my videos. Sorry guys, just trying to get my camera and my camera straight here. All right. So Raw opened. I loved. I'm gonna start out by saying I absolutely loved this opening of Monday Night Raw. Okay, this Monday Night Raw was an incredible open. I absolutely loved this opening. So Raw opens. Raw opens with first off, Ludwig Kaiser, as Samantha Irvin says. I love. By the way, on a side note, I just love how Samantha Irvin does the ring entrances. It's absolutely amazing how she does the ring entrances. I love it. So, Raw opened with Ludwig Kaiser touting Gunther's victory over Damian Priest at SummerSlam to win the World Heavyweight Championship. And Gunther came out, said that he was going to make this title a prestigious title. He was going to make this title like, this title was going to be prestigious. This title was going to be sacred and honored, and so Gunther's touting his victory, and then he's interrupted by the Viper, Randy Orton. Now, I did not see this coming. Okay, so Randy Orton comes out, interrupts Gunther, and I gotta say, this is probably my favorite part of the segment. This is my absolute favorite part of my favorite part of the segment. Randy Orton came out, talked about Gunther's, his reign as Intercontinental Champion, all that. Then Randy Orton said, how about you and me he said, well, first he said, I loved this line. I made a career. You're a legend. I made a career out of killing legends. So how about you and me at Bash in Berlin for that World Heavyweight Championship on your shoulder? And the crowd absolutely popped for it. They went absolutely ape crazy. I loved this. And then you could hear Gunther, or then you could hear Randy Orton say, I loved this too. Randy Orton said to, because you guys know how Randy Orton like says that you won't see the RKO coming, but I loved this line. He said, I want you to see it coming. I want you to see he said, I want you to see the RKO coming. And Gunther, I'm just the conversation after the microphone picked up, and I love how the microphone will pick up the conversation, like after the interview set, or after the promo segment. I loved that. So then we got our match, and holy cow, Ludwig Kaiser just absolutely just, I mean, Ludwig Kaiser just, I mean, these guys both Kaiser and Sheamus just beat the absolute crap out of each other. It was an incredible match. I mean, some of my favorite bits in this match were, I loved the brutality of this match. This is just like two dudes that absolutely cannot stand each other. These two dudes that absolutely hate each other's guts. And I love this. Kaiser, I loved how Kaiser just, I mean, it was a back and forth, and then some of my favorite bits were when they were outside the ring. I absolutely loved this. After they came back out of the commercial, Kaiser, did his running dropkick where he runs around the ring and does his running dropkick, and he absolutely destroyed Sheamus. Absolutely destroyed Sheamus, and drop kicked him against the steps. I mean, I thought that was an amazing part of an incredible part of an awesome part of the match. Actually, I loved that. Then for whatever reason, I have not figured out what Pete Dunne has with Sheamus. I have not figured this out yet. This I have not figured out. I do not know what Sheamus, or what Pete Dunne's deal is with Sheamus. I don't know what Pete Dunne's. There we go. That's better, guys. All right. Sorry, I was messing with getting some better light there. There we go. I don't know what Sheamus's beef is with Pete Dunne. Or, I'm sorry. Sorry. I don't know what Pete Dunne's deal is with Sheamus. Haven't figured that out yet. Obviously they're used to, his running buddy, in the Brawling Brutes. But so out comes Pete Dunne, shillelagh in hand, tries to hit Sheamus with a shillelagh, and Sheamus nails a brogue kick and takes out Pete Dunne. Sheamus rolls back in the ring. Now, this is after, obviously this is after Kaiser, the bit where Kaiser earlier in the match. This is kind of toward the end of the match, but earlier in the match, another bit, Ludwig Kaiser tried to hit the 10 beats of the boundary, and I thought that was good. I thought that was really good. And of course, Sheamus, he hits he reverses that, and later on in the match gets Kaiser on the apron, and Sheamus hits the 10 beats of the boundary, and that was, I love that. I love hearing the audio, the WWE universe count out with Sheamus, and it's always more than 10. It's at least 13, at least 20. And the referee just lets it go. I love that. And of course, Sheamus. Then Sheamus hits a brogue kick to Kaiser and picks up the victory. Picks up the victory there, and so then we get this was, I love this, and so I loved how Michael Cole said this. This was really cool. That 11 years ago on Monday, this past Monday, was 11 years since Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family made their WWE debut on the main roster. And it was in Baltimore. And so it came full circle for Bo Dallas and the Wyatt Six, for Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six. I love how that came. I love how Michael Cole made that reference, that it came full circle. And as the Wyatt Six later on would be in action against Chad Gable and the Creed brothers, and I'll get into that and get into their new tag team name after in a little bit here. Then probably the best segment, one of the best segments of the night. There were a lot of good segments backstage. This was one of my favorite. This was probably the best in-ring segment. Damian Priest comes out and basically he calls out Finn. He tells Finn, you screwed me out of the title match at SummerSlam. I want you now. Get out to this ring. And he says, well, of course, it says, of course you wouldn't come out. You're nothing but a coward, backstabbing coward, right? And so out comes, we get, Priest is out there. Priest is out there doing, cutting his promo, and up on the screen comes Finn Balor, and I loved the camera work behind this. This was really cool camera work. I absolutely loved the camera work. This was really good. This was really, really good camera work. I thought the camera work here was awesome. I thought the camera work was absolutely awesome here. So it's just a close up of Finn Balor, and Finn's just talking, telling Priest, we agreed. He said, we agreed that there was going to be no leaders in Judgment Day, and when you became the world champion, you kind of basically you became the leader, and we said that there was going to be no leaders, and so because of that, I stabbed you in the back, and we're going to stab you in the back again and again and again. And then the camera then the camera pans back, and we got the reveal of the new Judgment Day. You know, we got JD, McDonough, Carlito, and of course Liv and Dominic Mysterio, and of course, you know, Liv and Dom are playing it up, you know, and you know, playing sucky face, you know, you know, you know, you know, and it just these evil smiles, you know, on the faces of the new Judgment Day, and then you know, then after that segment, and we get Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. They just recap what happened at SummerSlam. You know, what went down at SummerSlam, and it was actually kind of funny. I found this really funny. They showed the Friday kickoff where Pat McAfee and Michael Cole, you know, got to do the water, you know, the water spitting with Triple H. You know how Triple H spits the water, you know, when he does his entrance. It was just funny. Michael Cole and Pat McAfee got to do that, and Pat McAfee was awesome. And of course, he had the padistrator. I thought that was great. I love that bit. I love the padistrator. It's the greatest thing. I love it. And he's showing how, you know, he's just showing, you know, how his spray, you know, his water spray was like perfect, and you know how you have to do the spray, you know, the spit afterwards, you know, and of course Michael Cole, his looked like a fountain, you know, when he did it, you know, when he spit the water, his looked like a fountain, and I thought that was really good. I thought that was actually, I got a good laugh, a good chuckle out of that. And then we get Bronson Reed backstage, and my word, holy crap. Okay, Bronson Reed's backstage talking to Adam Pearce, and you know, he's, you know, saying how it should have been him, and Sheamus shouldn't have got that match. It should have been him. You know, for against Kaiser, should have been, you know, it should have been his opportunity. And that if he's not going to get opportunities, he is going to, he said he was going to start carving his own path, and we left it at that. And that I was like, ooh, that is a little ominous, right? So we just left that there. And then we got then we got our first women's match of the night, which was Lyra Valkyria going up against Shayna Baszler. And this match, I mean, of course, you know, this match is probably about 5 minutes, you know, 5 minutes or more, or you know, anywhere from like 5 to 8 minutes, a 5 to 6, 7 minute match. Because Sonya was dominating, and then, you know, and of course we had, Shayna was dominating, you know, targeting the arm, and, you know, doing all her submission, you know, going for all her submissions. Got Lyra in got Lyra Valkyria in the Kabuto clutch, or started to get her in the Kabuto clutch, and of course Sonya Deville and Zoe Stark, you know, they jump up on the ring apron and interfere, and jump in the ring. And we get a DQ, and then Damage Control, Kairi Sane and Damage Control, that being Kairi Sane, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai, all came running down to cheers. I mean, so this it seems like now that Damage Control are baby faces, which is okay. That was kind of a quick baby face turn, which surprised me. I was like, okay, that's interesting. That's kind of cool. And they're just beating each other down. These 6 women are just beating each other up, and then so and Damage Control would later on in the night Dakota Kai was set to take on Sonya Deville. So we left it there at that, and then we had a backstage segment with the Final Testament, and I like this group. I like the Final Testament. I just wish that they were doing more with them. I wish that they were not just in a feud with the New Day. I really wish that Akam and Razor AOP were actually in the tag title picture on Raw, because they are 2 absolute beasts of men. I mean, I think it's Akam, or one of them is Michael Cole refers to as the Punjabi Giant. I mean, it's just it's these 2 need to be in the tag title picture, and I'm surprised that they are not. I'm surprised that they're not in the. I'm surprised they're not in the. That they're not in the tag title picture. They absolutely need to be in the tag title picture, because these 2 dudes are just 2 bad dudes that need to be in the title picture. These 2 dudes just need to be. These two guys need to be in the title picture, and I'm surprised that they're not. They need to be. So they're backstage cutting a little doing a little segment, and Karrion Kross, he's, as we know, he's been trying to pull Xavier Woods away from the New Day, away from Kofi, and just telling Woods how Kofi is taking up the spotlight, how it's always been about Kofi, and it's never been about Woods. It's always been about Kofi, and we got the little backstage thing where little video showing how how everything was all about Kofi, and that's what Karrion Kross keeps harping, keeps preaching, is that it's all about Kofi Woods. It's never been about you. You've always been the second wheel. You've always been the third wheel in the New Day. You've never held a singles title. Nobody's ever put you in the center. It's always been about Kofi. Kofi Mania, Kofi. And then Kross says that he gave him opportunity to join the Final Testament, but because he didn't, because he said no, that AOP was going to destroy the New Day for good. And I thought that was a really cool segment. like I said, I like the judge. Not only do I like the Judgment Day, obviously, but I also like the Final Testament. But I wish they were doing more with them. I wish that Triple H and Creative was doing more with the Final Testament. You know, Karrion Kross needs to be, and he should be in the Intercontinental Championship picture. I mean, the guy needs to be in a title picture. I mean, you could put him in the world. Well, I don't know if you want to put him in the world heavyweight title picture yet, because you have Gunther, who's a heel, and you'd have two heels. I don't know if you want to do two heels, feuding with each other. But put Karrion Kross and Braun Breaker in a program together for the Intercontinental Championship. Karrion Kross is that good. The man needs a title. The man needs to be in a title picture. Same thing with AOP. They need to be in the tag title picture. Going against DIY for the World Tag Team titles. AOP needs to be feuding with somebody other than the New Day. They need to be feuding with somebody other than the New Day. And because they are just, AOP are just that good. Akam and Razor are two beasts, just absolute monsters. I mean, if you go back to their NXT days, just kind of a sidebar here. If you go back to their NXT days, they were that AOP and Paul Ellering were one of the most dominant forces in NXT during their NXT run. I mean, they were Akam and Razor, AOP were tag team champions in NXT. And they absolutely destroyed people. Absolutely murdered people, right? And I think that this is how they need to be booked up on the main roster, up on Raw. They need to be in the tag title picture. It's a must. It is an absolute must. And then we get another backstage segment. There was a lot of backstage segments. There's been a lot of backstage segments this lately on Raw and SmackDown. There's been a lot more backstage segments. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but just I think I don't want them to oversaturate us with backstage segments, And I think that's one thing they have to be careful of, is oversaturating us with backstage segments, because it can get to be too much, and I don't want it to be too much, So I think that's something that going forward that WWE has to, creative needs to kind of keep in mind, But that being said, we had Ivy Nile. She was talking to the Creed brothers, and just talking to them, asking them, hey, how you guys been? All that good stuff, and the Creed said, hey, we gotta go. They left, and Maxine Dupree comes in the picture, and her and Ivy Nile are talking, and as she's talking, they're talking, about the Alpha Academy, and Chad Gable walks in and, says, I'm done with Alpha Academy. You guys are a bunch of losers. I'm done. I'm done surrounding myself with losers. I'm done. You guys are a bunch of losers. I don't surround myself with losers. And then he talked about, he said how him and the Creeds in their 6-man tag in the main event we're going to we're going to take out and we're going to destroy the Wyatt Six. Well, we all know how that we know how that's going to end up, we'll talk about how that ends up. And so, then Ivy Nile walks away, but I don't think Ivy Nile walked away with Chad Gable, but I don't think she did so willingly. I think she did so kind of reluctantly, because I don't know. I don't know. I could be totally wrong on this, but I don't know if Ivy Nile wants to be in another faction. And I tend to be in the group that says Ivy Nile needs to be on her own. Ivy Nile needs to have a singles run. Ivy Nile needs to be she's good. She's really good. As you guys know that I forget what the name of the competition show was, but it was the Rock's competition show. I forget what it was, but she ended up winning. I think she ended up winning that competition reality show, and she's really, really good, and so she needs to be in the women's singles division. She doesn't need to be tied down with a group. She should be on her own, doing her own thing. And so, and then we got a recap of SummerSlam. And then before commercial break, we got a shot of CM. We got a camera shot. We got CM Punk backstage, making his way toward the ring. CM Punk coming up next, So, and then after the ad break, we got CM Punk came out to a huge pop. Of course, I mean, he is so over, and it's obvious, how over CM Punk is. I mean, the WWE universe, myself included, love CM Punk. I love me some CM Punk. I love me some Phil Brooks. That guy is awesome. Not only is he awesome in ring, but the guy is amazing on the mic. The guy can kill it on the microphone. And so he comes out, he's talking, about how much he loves Baltimore, and how he wouldn't be, CM Punk wouldn't be CM Punk without the fans, without the WWE universe, and he's not upset about losing at SummerSlam. He talked about how he's not upset about losing at SummerSlam. How, he could be angry, he could be upset, he could be ticked off at Seth Rollins, he could be ticked off at Drew, but he owned it. He said, I cost myself, da 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 da. Well, in between all this, during his little segment, during his in-ring segment, Seth Rollins comes out, and I like what he said I like what he did when he came out. I love watching him high five and fist bump Samantha Irvin. I love that. I think that is just so cool. That's so genuine. It's because you see CM Punk. You see the genuineness of CM Punk. I love that. I love seeing the genuineness of CM Punk. I love seeing how much he loves what he does. And just to see him kind of out of character a little bit, high-fiving Samantha Irvin and fist bumping Samantha Irvin, and just I love that, hugging the crowd, and then he mentions, I like what he was talking about, hard work, how he was supposed to come back, after Survivor Series, going into WrestleMania. It was supposed to be his comeback. He was supposed to, that was supposed to be the big debut of CM Punk. He was supposed to go on a run. Well, he mentions he obviously got hurt thanks to Drew, and so he said he was supposed to, the doctors told him it was 9 months before he was going to be back, and he did it in 5. And I thought that was awesome. How I love that. I love how CM Punk was like, hard work pays off. And that is so true. I love that. I love how he said that hard work pays off. And it's true. Hard work does pay off. And I loved that. I loved how CM Punk said that. And then not too long right after he said that, he said that he talked about how his road to WrestleMania started Saturday at SummerSlam. That's his road to that was his road to WrestleMania. His road to getting back to WrestleMania. And so his road started at SummerSlam. And I hope we get another Summer of Punk. I love that. I want another Summer of Punk. I think that was awesome. I love that. I want another Summer of Punk. I thought that was so great. Then, of course, after he says that, Seth Rollins' music hits. Out comes Seth Rollins. And I thought this was great. I love how Seth's just talking, talking away, And I love how CM Punk said, he goes, Seth says, are you going to let me in the ring, or do I have to kick your butt out here? And CM Punk says, well, you being dressed like a cowboy, I'll be your Huckleberry. Come on, get in the ring. And so they start, going back and forth. And as they're going back and forth, they end up staring off, having to stare off, of course, And then out of the crowd, here's Drew McIntyre. And, Drew, obviously, since he's gotten the bracelet of CM Punk that has Larry, his dog, CM Punk's dog, and AJ Lee's name on his bracelet, Drew's been like this calm, cool, collected, kind of guy, and he's been attributing that to the bracelet. And of course, Punk hears it. Punk goes taking off in the crowd. And as Punk goes running off, out of nowhere comes Bronson Reed. And he absolutely massacres Seth Rollins. Absolutely destroys Seth Rollins. I mean, he hits Seth Rollins with half a dozen tsunamis. And Seth starts bleeding from his mouth. I mean, obviously there's internal bleeding there, internal injuries. And I mean, half a dozen tsunamis. Good Lord. I mean, talk about talk about taking opportunity for yourself and making opportunity for yourself. Holy crap. I mean, he just came in and absolutely destroyed Seth Rollins. And so I don't know if this is Seth Rollins getting written off TV for a while, or this is a way to write him off TV. I'm not sure. I don't know if those injuries were legit. But after we had another ad break, and coming back out of the ad break, we had Jackie Redmond's backstage talking with Raw General Manager Adam Pearce, and she's trying to get an update on Seth Rollins, and finding out what the heck happened. And Pearce said that the doctors looked at him and he was on his way to the hospital because he's got internal bleeding, and that's all we know. And then there's a little commotion backstage with CM Punk. He's obviously on the hunt for Drew. Well, Adam Pearce runs into Drew. Adam Pearce finds Drew and tells Drew that he kicked Drew out of the building. Drew's not even in the building, in the arena. So, CM Punk just needs to calm down. CM Punk just needs to relax. He needs to chill. Okay, so we get done with that segment. And then we got the Final Testament in the ring, ready to take on the New Day. And I loved this. This was really cool. This is really cool for me because I loved the Ninja Turtles. Okay, growing up in the 80s, I grew up watching the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as a kid, and I loved the new characters, the new wrestling figures that they're inspired by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I love it. You have Roman Reigns, figure. It looks like Shredder, and then the New Day are the Ninja Turtles. I love that. So Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston are walking out, and they've got the new one of their new wrestling figures in their hand, and I thought it was really cool. They handed it to a kid in the stands. I thought that was great. I love that. And they're dressed like Michelangelo and Donatello, two of my favorite Ninja Turtles. I was a Michelangelo fan, so I loved it. Actually, I loved Donatello and Michelangelo. But if I had to pick a favorite, it would have been Michelangelo. It was Michelangelo. And I loved it. It was really cool. I thought it was just really cool how they were dressed, how their ring gear was inspired by the Ninja Turtles, how their Woods and Kofi's ring gear were inspired by Donatello and Michelangelo. I thought that was really cool. Really cool. I kind of popped for that a little bit. I thought that was really cool. The match, just as the match goes on, it was a back and forth. And Kofi hit this awesome high cross body. To the Final Testament outside, and Woods and Kofi are making their comeback. They're making this comeback, Then they get Woods, Xavier Woods gets the one of the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll up. 1, 2, 3. The New Day win. The Final Testament starts beating down the New Day. And then somebody I had completely forgotten about. Completely. Odyssey Jones. Who's drafted to Monday Night Raw, I believe he got hurt, was out for a year, was redrafted to Raw. His last match, I believe, was in 2022. So he hasn't been on TV in a long time. So out comes Odyssey Jones. He takes out both Akam and Razor in one move. He hits this 2-man sidewalk slam. Holy cow. I sat there just, wow. My jaw dropped. I could not believe the strength of this man. I mean, Odyssey Jones, over 6 feet, 400 plus pounds. Dude picks up Akam and Razor, side slams them both. Then New Day and Odyssey Jones are standing tall. But something very interesting to me. Very interesting. Woods, if you look at Xavier Woods, he's off in the corner. Kind of not as excited as Kofi was to have Odyssey Jones come out and save the day. Xavier Woods is kind of, yeah, great, awesome, yeah, all right, yeah, cool, great to see Odyssey Jones, yeah. He's got that half, that forced smile, like, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, that's great, and so there was that, which was very, 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 very interesting, and then backstage, and even backstage Woods just seemed kind of. I noticed that Xavier Woods just seemed kind of, man, yay, he wasn't impressed with Odyssey being there and helping out. And Kofi's trying to get Woods, cheer up. Hey, we won. Hey, we got Odyssey Jones here. I called him up to help us out, and here, and Odyssey Jones is like, yeah, Woods called me, or not Woods, but sorry, Kofi called me and was like, hey, we need help with the Final Testament, and and Woods is like, yeah, cool, all right, awesome, great, cool, yeah. And then the Alpha Academy, Maxine Dupree, Otis, and Otis and Akira Tozawa show up, and they're all excited, and Woods is kind of okay, whatever. But then of course, then we get Tozawa doing his dance, and then there's Woods just doing his thing, and but at the same time, I noticed that Woods still is not thrilled. So that's something to kind of keep an eye on. That's something to kind of watch. Is Woods going to, at some point soon, is Woods going to turn heel on Kofi? And are we going to finally get the split of the New Day? Just something to watch. Keep an eye on that. Watch out. Watch for that. Because I think Woods is going to turn on Kofi, and we're gonna get a Xavier Woods heel turn. And I think he's gonna join the Final Testament, or he's gonna get a huge singles run. Because let's be honest, I'm gonna be honest. Woods deserves a huge singles run. I mean, he's 11-time tag team champion, former King of the Ring, but he's never had a singles run. He needs to have a singles run. I absolutely want to see Woods on a singles run. He is that good. And I think Triple H, Paul Levesque, a.k.a. Paul Levesque, is the one that can do that and do it right for Woods and give him a singles run. I think that would be perfect. Absolutely perfect. And then before I go over the match, I love R-Truth. I love Awesome Truth. R-Truth and The Miz, I love it. I love Awesome Truth. Awesome Truth was going up against A-Town Down Under. They showed the bit, where Miz was hosting SummerSlam. And R-Truth and Miz, and R-Truth, thinking, I love R-Truth. He was thinking that A-Town Down Under was somebody else, and didn't know who Jelly Roll was, country music singer Jelly Roll. And, they showed Jelly Roll hitting a choke slam on A-Town Down Under, which was on Austin Theory, which I thought was awesome, which I thought was really good. And so we got into the match. And there was some nice tag moves, tag team moves. And before I move on, before I continue with that, I thought it was cool. We got a triple knuckle shuffle with the Miz, R-Truth, and Jelly Roll hitting the 5 knuckle shuffle on Austin Theory. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was awesome. So the match had some nice tag team moves, of course, and coming out of the break, A-Town Down Under had the upper hand. Truth and later on in the match, Truth gets the hot tag. Miz takes control. And it wasn't quite a long match, R-Truth made the blind tag, got a little overzealous, and goes to hits an AA attitude adjustment on Theory. That's on Waller, and Theory was the legal man. Truth didn't realize it. Theory hits the A-Town Down Under, picks up the win, and so there you go. And R-Truth and the Miz are like, okay, it's okay, but I think we're gonna get a Miz turn here soon. I do. I think we're going to get a Miz turn on R-Truth. And Miz is going to go back to being a heel, which he is a better heel than he is a face. No offense to Miz. He's a much better heel than he is babyface. So I think soon here we're going to get a Miz heel turn. Just watch and see. And then we had JD McDonough. Earlier in the night, JD McDonough had cut a promo on Damian Priest. We had a video promo. JD was saying how he's going to destroy Damian, and how he's going to show him what the Judgment Day really should be about and all this. And then Damian Priest was cutting his promo, and I thought it was really cool. Damian Priest said, I hope that you've asked for forgiveness of your sins. Because he was talking to, and he said, because you're going straight to, he goes, you're going straight to hell. And I was like, oh, dude. And he was talking about him hitting the South of Heaven chokeslam, which is Damian Priest's basically his finisher. You know, his finisher at South of Heaven chokeslam. So I thought that was a really good bit. And then coming out of the break, we got Kathy Kelly backstage. She was talking to Braun Breaker about him winning the tag or the winning the Intercontinental Championship, and you know what that means for him, and this and that, and you know all this, and Braun, you know, it's like, yeah, normally it would be, you know, everybody in the locker room are the hunters and I'm the hunted. Well, I'm a different breed. I'm the hunter, and everybody in that locker room is the hunted. And you know, he's talking about how he's going to be a champion for a long time. How those nameplates on that championship aren't going anywhere. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was awesome. And then we got Damian Priest and the match between Priest and McDonough, and that match started off really hot. I loved this match. This was a good match. You could tell there was just utter hatred that they have for each other, and you saw it come out in the match. You just saw it come out. You saw it come out in the match, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Thought it was great. Then he had, of course, you know, Damian was in control, you know, at the start of the match until, okay, JD hits this incredible, absolutely incredible, like, headbutt. Priest is, I think Priest was going for his South of Heaven chokeslam. JD McDonough, this man is, this man is on another level of talent. Okay, JD McDonough, in the middle of getting hit with the South of Heaven chokeslam, flips, hits Priest with the headbutt, then goes up to the top rope, hits a backwards moonsault. I don't know. JD McDonough is one heck of a talent. That man is amazing. Amazing. I love JD McDonough is something to watch. If you have never watched him, you need to watch JD McDonough matches. A JD McDonough match, because he sells so well. I mean, sometimes oversells, and I love that. And then you know, Priest fights back. You know, he lays in one of his karate kicks that knocked JD out of the ring. And they battle outside for a little bit, and JD posts Priest right into the ring apron, you know, right into the ring post, and they get back in the ring, and Priest, I swear, a tooth came flying out of JD McDonough's mouth. Priest hit him so hard with a right. I mean, he just clocked JD McDonough with this right. And you just saw this. I swear it was a tooth. It must have been a tooth. I don't think it was gum. It must have been a tooth that came flying out of JD's mouth, because he got hit so stinking hard. It was unbelievable. I was just like, ow, ouch. I mean, that was a hit. That was a punch. Holy crap. He got hit so freaking hard. So stinking hard. It was, wow. I was like, oh my gosh. You know, and then JD got control. He continued to be in control for a little bit. And then during the picture-in-picture ad break, JD's in control. And then here's where I just mentioned the headbutt part of the match. This is what I'm talking. This is right. This was the part of the match that I just was like, what the heck did I just see? He flipped out. Like I said, he flips out of the South of Heaven chokeslam, nails Priest with a headbutt as he's flipping, mind you. Okay, as he's flipping, he hits Priest with a headbutt. Wow, and then hits a backwards moonsault. Unreal. It was awesome looking. And then Priest delivers that massive punch that knocked that looked like knocked JD's tooth out of JD's mouth. And then of course, just as Priest was getting ready to finish off JD McDonough, who shows up? Finn Balor. And the rest of the Judgment Day. And Finn and everyone start beating down Priest, Dirty Dom, JD, Carlito, and even Liv Morgan was getting a few licks in. Then out came Rhea Ripley, out came Mommy, and she came out to a huge pop. And she's her and Liv are going back and forth, and of course Rhea, she makes a dead sprint beeline for Liv Morgan, because she is out, as she said when she came back, she was going to be out for blood, and that's exactly what you saw. She made a beeline for Liv, and she's taken out Liv, posted Liv into the ring post. And then as Rhea's getting ready to, she obviously, she clears the announce table, the commentary table, and she's going to hit a razor's edge. And of course, Dirty Dom comes to Liv's rescue and saves Liv from getting put through the table. JD continues to beat down a Priest, and then Rhea gets in there, delivers a headbutt to McDonough, and Priest and Ripley are standing tall, and I love Pat McAfee goes, "We've got the new Terror Twins," and you are dang right. We got the new Terror Twins. Holy cow. We've got the new Terror Twins. Holy crap. Wow. Look out, Judgment Day is all I got to say to that. Look out, Judgment Day, and Liv. Look out. Finn, look out. You guys are in deep, deep trouble. And then we got in the backstage, we saw Dakota Kai getting ready for her match, and as she's getting ready, Sonya Deville and her crew, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, beat down Damage Control and assault Dakota Kai, absolutely take her out, take her knee out and all that. The knee that she had one or two. I believe she had one or two knee surgeries on, and so and she obviously wears a big old knee, a huge knee brace, for support, and so Shayna takes her out. So, and then Ilya and Sami Zayn are talking backstage, and Ilya, they're just talking, and Sami Zayn goes and ends the conversation with, hey Ilya, you're that good. You're going to be a champion here on Raw someday soon, and and then in walks Jay, and he's hyping Sammy up, telling Sammy, man, that match that you had against Braun was awesome, was amazing. Even though you lost the title, you looked great in that match. And Sammy's just disappointed in himself. Sammy's like, yeah, but I didn't win. And, Sammy's just beating himself up. And Jay tells Sammy, you're going to get that. You're going to get that IC title back. Sorry about that, guys. I had to grab my pencil here. I had to grab my pencil. Dropped it on the floor. Jay tells Sammy, Oos, you're gonna get that IC title back, Oos. And when you do, we've got some unfinished bloodline business. And what do you think about being a double champ? And that was what excited Sammy. That got Sammy hyped up. They did their secret handshake, and everything. And so Zayn goes off and talks to Adam Pearce, and sure enough, coming to find out, next week, Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the Intercontinental Championship. That is going to be a barn burner. That match is going to be amazing. That match is going to be absolutely hard-hitting and is going to be an incredible match. An absolutely incredible match. I am looking forward to that match. And then also, till we found out, next week is a number 1 contenders match for the women's tag team titles between Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark and Damage Control for the women's tag team titles. So that's going to be that ought to be a good match. That ought to be good. That ought to be a pretty okay match. And then it was main event time, and I was so looking forward to this main event. Oh my gosh, I was so looking forward to this main event. Oh man, was I looking forward to this. I could not wait to see the in-ring wrestling debut of the Wyatt Sick6. I was so excited for this, guys. So excited. So Chad Gable, and by the way, I love how they do the camera backstage now, where you get to walk through Gorilla and out to the arena with the wrestlers. I love that bit. Not bit. I love how they do that now. I love how they do that. How you get to just, I think it's just the coolest thing. You get to see what we don't normally get to see backstage. You get to walk through Gorilla, which we don't usually, which we've never used to see. I love that. And as Chad Gable and the Creed brothers are walking through to Gorilla and out to the arena, Chad Gable makes the announcement that the new tag team, their new group, their new faction, if you will. He said, I'm done with the Alpha Academy. You're looking at two of the most prolific wrestlers on the planet. Two superior athletes, and with my brain, you are looking at American made. And they had a whole new Titantron, everything. And so they Triple H is pushing. I love how Triple H is pushing Chad Gable as the new Kurt Angle. I love Kurt Angle. I love that. I love how he's pushing him as the new Kurt Angle. Like, and this is like the faction, Kurt Angle's faction they had with Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas. Yep. Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. Yep. Back in the day, their faction that they had. And so we get, and I love how he's getting instead of them going the "you suck" to Angle's music, the WWE Universe is like doing the "you suck" chant to Chad Gable's music. I love that. Absolutely love it. So Alpha, or not Alpha, that's going to take me a bit. American Made is in the ring, and we get the lights out. We get the the with the lights. The lights go out. And we get the full entrance theme of the Wyatt Sick6 to Bray's music and new entrance theme that he debuted at SummerSlam. Shattered. I loved this. And what was cool, it gave me chills, guys. This gave me chills. I got chills watching this. Because in the aisle was Bray's rocking chair that he had. And his lantern. I got chills seeing that. That literally gave me chills down my spine. I was like, this is awesome. I love this. I love the homage to Bray. I love how they're still honoring Bray through this faction, through the Wyatt Sick6. How Bo Dallas is honoring his brother through this faction, and there's pieces of Bray in this faction. Like, I love it. I love it. I love how there's a lot of Bray in this faction, but also at the same time it's Bo Dallas, but it's Bo Dallas taking what Bray had in mind with the Wyatt Sick6 and what Bray wanted to do with the Firefly Funhouse characters, bringing them to life, what he wanted to do. I love this. So I got chills, And also too, we get a not only that, we get another VHS video of Joe Gacy, aka Huskus the Pig Boy, because Joe Gacy thinks that he's Huskus the Pig Boy, And I loved this. Loved this. I thought this was amazing. And I have to say, I jumped. I made me jump because I was not expecting the scream from Joe Gacy at the end of this video. Of this, like, behind the scenes, like of this behind the scenes of Huskus, about Huskus the Pig Boy, aka Joe Gacy. I was not expecting this. And so yeah, I jumped a little I jumped a little bit when I saw that. I was like, "Oh, it caused me to jump a little bit." It caught me off guard, but I loved it. I loved it though. I thought it was amazing. Perfectly done. Well done. Kudos WWE. Kudos Triple H. I love this faction. I love the Wyatt Six. They are my absolute favorite. I want a Wyatt Six. I want a Wyatt Six shirt. I absolutely do. I love the Wyatt Six. They are amazing. So the Wyatt Six, they make their entrance and they looked absolutely awesome. They looked so menacing, so creepy, but not the spooky vibes, like how how Vince would see it. Vince would see, the Wyatt Six, oh, they're spooky. We got to go really spooky, and go more spooky. No. This is, I love how it's the spooky vibes, but it's also the mesh or blend of the Wyatt family. So it's like you have that spooky, it's like that haunted, cult leader, vibe, as Uncle Howdy, he's like the cult leader of this new faction. You have this new cult leader in Uncle Howdy, leading the Wyatt Six, bringing them out of obscurity and letting them be themselves and giving them a family when nobody wanted them, nobody thought anything of them, and the whole thing that Bray, was, how he, gave Rowan and Harper, Luke Harper, aka Brody Lee, the late Luke Harper, Brody Lee, a family, and just I loved this whole thing. I love this whole thing. And I love also too how they're keeping how they use their names, their real names. They're not just referring to them as Mercy the Buzzard, Abby the Witch, Huskus the Pig Boy, or Ramblin' Rabbit. They're actually referring to him as Dexter Loomis, Joe Gacy, Nikki Cross, and Dexter Loomis and Eric Rowan. And during the break, they out American Made, they had the upper hand, and just like I said, I love how Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, are using, the Joe Gacy, saying Joe Gacy, Dexter Loomis, Eric Rowan, Nikki Cross. They're not using they're not referring to them as their Firefly Funhouse characters. They're referring to them as their wrestling characters, as their wrestling names. I think that's just awesome. But then, of course, the Wyatt Six gained the upper hand. Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis and Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis hit this awesome move together. I loved it. Hit this perfect slam, awesome double slam. I loved it. Then this was probably my favorite part of the match. Luke Harper, the late Luke Harper. Eric Rowan paid homage to Luke Harper because if you guys remember when Luke Harper was in the WWE, his thing was he would do the and do the kiss, and then he would do the flip from the apron. Eric Rowan did that whole thing. I loved that. I loved that tribute to his friend Luke Harper. I thought that was great. I absolutely loved it. And I thought this match was so awesome. And you know, the Wyatt Six, and of course the Wyatt Six, they picked up the win with a splash from the top rope from Dexter Lumis after Joe Gacy hits the slam. Oh, by the way, Joe Gacy, again, the homage to Bray in this too, I loved. Joe Gacy did you guys remember how Bray used to do? Bray would go into the corner of the ring, flip upside down, and just look at you upside down. Joe Gacy did that. I loved that. I loved that tribute. I loved how he did that tribute to Bray, and how he's doing that. I love that. All the tributes to Bray and Luke Harper, I loved in this match. I love this faction so much. And so Dexter Lumis hits the splash from the top rope, and the Wyatt Six get the win over American Made, and that was Raw. And I honestly thought that that Monday's Raw was amazing, absolutely incredible. Just seemed like just a little too much, little too many backstage segments. If they would just cut down on that and focus more on the in-ring. I don't mind the promos and that in the ring, but too many backstage segments. You need to cut down on those a little bit. But other than that, a huge win for Monday Night Raw. Raw was awesome, guys. If you haven't watched it, go back and check it out if you can. Go check out the highlights, especially the Wyatt Six against American Made. Chills. Gives you chills. Loved Monday Night Raw. It was awesome, guys. Like I said, go check out the highlights if you haven't. And also, guys, make sure before you guys watch this video, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Let me know what you guys thought of the Wyatt Six match. What you guys thought of the Wyatt Six in-ring debut. And what you guys think of Randy Orton versus Gunther at Bash in Berlin. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Hollywood Steve. And remember, when you're Hollywood Steve, life is just too sweet.